Biomedicine's Bioknowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine. Welcome to Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Our mission is to bridge the gap between scientific research and practical healthcare applications, ensuring that the latest advancements improve patient care, health outcomes, and public health. Biomedical knowledge translation involves turning cutting-edge biomedical research into tangible solutions for healthcare systems. At Actuate Biomedicine, we specialize in this process, ensuring that scientific breakthroughs reach those who need them most. We host our Learn to Earn sessions every Tuesday from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. East African Time. Each cohort participates in an 8-week program designed to guide learners through the 7 stages of biomedical knowledge translation. The 7 stages include exploration, where we identify new research and innovations; evaluation, assessing the potential impact and feasibility; planning, developing strategies for implementation; development, creating practical applications and solutions; implementation, integrating these solutions into healthcare settings; another round of evaluation, monitoring and assessing effectiveness; and finally, distribution, ensuring wide access to the final products. Our learners gain in-depth knowledge and practical skills, empowering them to translate biomedical research into real-world applications. Through our program, we aim to foster a new generation of experts who will drive advancements in healthcare. Join us at Actuate Biomedicine's Biomedical Knowledge Translation Faucet. Together, we can make a significant impact on healthcare and public health. Learn, earn, and contribute to a healthier future. Be a part of the change. Transform knowledge into action with Actuate Biomedicine.
Hello everyone. Hello.
Hello, Grace.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Today we are going to start with cohort 2, that is session 2, and we're going to be exploring on the we are going to be diving deeper on the quadratic funding in exploration stage of biomedical knowledge translation. We're going to see how quadratic funding is also important to biomedical knowledge translation in the exploration stage. So our meeting agenda for today is as follows. I will be presiding over the meeting. Then our topic master is Damin. I can see he's in the room. Then we are going to have Doc giving us the additional comments and also notes. Then we're going to have the question and answer session, and then we can conclude the meeting. So Damin, I think you can start as others join.
Okay, thanks, Grace. As my colleague has been spoken, that today we have a session about the quadratic funding on biomedical knowledge translation. So we are going to have about the exploration stage. We're going to have a check about understanding about quadratic funding, and also we're going to check about explanation stage in biomedical research. And we're going to check how quadratic funding can benefit the exploration stage. And so we're going to see how implementing quadratic funding in biomedical knowledge translation. And also we are going to check about case studies and the potential impact, and we're going to finalize. So let's check his introduction. In the realm of biomedical research, the translation of knowledge from the laboratory to clinical practice is a critical step that ensures scientific discoveries benefit in public health. Sometimes, this translation is like a process which often hampered by funding challenges, especially during the exploration stage. This is innovative, it is but unproven ideas that need initial support. Quadratic funding, it's like a novel mechanism that leverage about community involvement and the equitable resources allocations that presents a promising solution to enhance funding for biomedical knowledge translation. This article deliver into the concept of quadratic funding and its applications in the exploration stage of biomedical research. By talking about such introductions, so let's see. I know we are always learning about this quadratic funding, but let me try to remind you, quadratic funding is a mechanism designed to democratize the funding process that allow for more equitable distribution of resources based on community preferences. And these ideas had been developed by founder Vitalik Buterin, Zohit Zeg, and Granwell. They are only relying on matching about funds and individual contribution to determine the total support of a project. This fundamental principle is that more individual contributors a project that are the higher matching funds, and it's received by amplifying about the community-driven support. So by taking that meaning of quadratic funding, so let's explore the stage in biomedical research. This stage in biomedical research is where innovative ideas are first conceived and the preliminary studies are conducted. And this stage is so crucial for identifying about these potential breakthroughs in offensive underfunded due to the high risk and uncertainty involved. Traditional funding mechanisms tended to favor established projects with the proven results, leaving an early stage innovation struggling to secure about the necessary resources. So let's check how quadratic fundings can be, those importance of quadratic funding. Let's see the benefit according to the explanation stage. The first benefit that we get from quadratic funding is enhanced community engagement. When I'm talking this, I mean this quadratic funding encourages broad community participation by making small individual contribution impactful. Researchers can engage with a diverse pool of stakeholders, including patient healthcare professionals and those in general public, that foster links about collaborative environment. But also another benefit that we get from quadratic funding in the exploration stage, it is all about brings about equitable resource allocation. This is like a model to ensure that these projects widespread the community support receiving more fundings regardless of the initial size of the contributions. And this approach helps level the playing field for the early stage ideas that may not attract about the large individual donations, but have significant community interest. But another benefit that you can get from this, it is all about increased about the transparency and the accountability. By relying on community contributions, this quadratic funding, it's like a promotable, transparent, making people to be aware about this funding process. How does it work? How does it influence the community to know and to be responsible for what they do for the benefit of the community? And this has been involved with some researchers that are motivated to maintain about the high standards of accountability and in making a chain of communications with their supporters in order to ensure these funds are used effectively. Those are some of the benefits of quadratic fundings on the exploration stage. So how do we implement about this quadratic funding in biomedical knowledge translations? In order to implement this quadratic funding in the exploration stage, you have to consider the following steps. The first one, you have to establish a platform. That is the first thing that you're supposed to do. This digital platform, they dedicate to quadratic funding can facilitate the process. How? This platform, they should allow researchers to present their projects and tracking contribution to display about making fat calculation transparent. So a platform must be designed in order to make this quadratic funding, they can help this process to be conducted. And this platform, it invite a lot of donors or sponsors to establish. It can be in social media that we do. We just invite them. We just visiting them to the official website to invite them to engage with us in this biomedical translations. And we hope next summit we have this. So we need to establish about these platforms. Another issue is all about securing matching funds. These contributions like making about pool matching funds related to public or these private sources, which is so important. And other governments or philanthropic organizations, other private sectors or investors, we just provide these securing funds for them. And this can contribute to this pool because we're just making pool system to organize about these investors or donors. And sometimes by doing this poll, we just ensure a good organization and a good community project that will grow in order to receive adequate funding. So this is like a system that's making to organize and to make people together to invest and to do what the contract states. About the issue, another issue is all about promoting community involvement. Effective communication in strategies is needed to engage about these communities, to encourage about the participation. We're just using about social media campaigns like this. We're just using Zoom meeting on daily basis according to timetable. So we just provide about important informations. We're just using about this information from webinars, these collaborations. We just engage different people to invite different donors in order to make this. We promote community involvement in order to make sure that we are going to advocate different groups which can help to raise about awareness and bring about drive a good contributions. But also it is all about monitoring and evaluation. This is another how can we implement about this quadratic funding in biomedical. Hello.
Yes.
So monitoring and evaluation, I can say like we continue to monitor about the monitoring and evaluation for the funded projects, because this is a crucial steps that we track about these funds by involving this blockchain where data are secured, and this can be make more effective for these programs or projects to progress. It grow and grow when you invite different people due to this community engagement. So data must be present, data must be progressed, data must be followed in order to check the outcomes of this project. And the feedback is very important. There must be a communication, that there must be feedback to provide like a feedback loop which can improve funding process and inform about the future strategies that are just using to these projects. So those are some of the steps to implement about this quadratic funding in biomedical knowledge translations. But I can give some case studies and the potential impact, several cases studies that can illustrate about the potential impact of QF on the biomedical knowledge translations, that we see rare disease research, which ensure early stage research on rare disease often struggle to secure funding due to the limited patient population. This QF always mobilize the rare disease community to support about innovative research, potentially leading to the breakthrough that benefits small but crucial patient groups. So this it is one example for case study. But another, it is about the imaging technology that uses the project explains about imaging biomedical technology, such as CRISPR genes editing, or just using about these personalized medicines, which provide initial support in quadratic funding. So this technology, this research, they always accelerate about the development and the translations cutting edge of this quadratic funding in biomedical translations, and it brings a good meaning in clinical practices. But lastly, I can say QF represents a transformative approach to addressing the funding challenges in exploration stage of biomedical research by democratizing the funding process and leveraging about the community support. And this mechanism can enhance the translations of innovative ideas into tangible health benefits. As a biomedical research community continues to explore new funding models, quadratic funding stands out as a promising solutions to foster about equitable and impactful research advancements. Thank you, Grace. Thank you, teams. Hello.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Damin, for those insightful words. Thank you so much for the nice presentation. This time I want to welcome Dr. Masharia to give us additional more notes on that topic. Hello, Doc.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Welcome.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay?
We can hear you.
Yeah, well, there's a fan, noise of fan in the background here making noise. But you can hear me okay without the fan. You don't hear the fan making noise. Well, thank you, quadratic funding. Thank you so much, Monsieur Damien, and welcome back to Kenya. I'm saying this as a joke, but we love our friends in Tanzania. We should do a very big collaboration between TZ, because Tanzania is a lovely country. One day, somebody told me that Tanzania was the Garden of Eden. Is that true? Yeah, because it has all fruits and vegetables, the lion and the lamb live together. People are peaceful. Well, thank you. Quadratic funding. And thank you, Damien, for this wonderful presentation. Quadratic funding for exploration stage in biomedical translation. Why we have to tease out this, because we are now starting to dive deep into how we can build quadratic funding for each one of the 7 stages of biomedical translation. Each stage of biomedical translation, beginning with exploration, going to exteriorization, then to formalization, then to ideation, then to prototyping, and then manufacturing and distribution. So right now we have swung all the way back to exploration. As you may recall, when we were starting the first cycle, we say that exploration is a genesis moment. Genesis. When I mean genesis moment, it is that moment described in the first chapter, the first sentence of Genesis in the Holy Bible. For the Christians, they know that. Even I think everybody knows about the Genesis, the book of Genesis. And in that Genesis moment, where does the money come from to fund Genesis? Really impossible to raise money to fund Genesis, because the Genesis moment, you're coming to a place where the earth has no form of void. See that? The earth has no form of void. So you're not going to convince anybody that you are going to create something meaningful. So funding for the Genesis moment is called high risk. It's very, very high risk. Very high risk. That's the people in the finance industry and all the dismal scientists. We call them dismal scientists. Those are people who are always saying negative things about projects, because they are saying this project will never see the light of day. But they do not know you as the creator of that project. Your spirit has moved. And because your spirit has moved over the waters, and you have said, let there be light. Because you have said, let there be light, then you're going to shine a lot of light upon that idea. Now, the big problem is that where does the money come from? I want to take you back to the traditional system for how we finance exploration. You see, in all universities, and I think there's a lot of attempt now in African universities such as Kenyatta University, University of Nairobi, other universities, say in Kenya, imagine Tanzania. We have these centers that are coming up, such as the innovation centers. So in Kenyatta University, we have an innovation center. Grace, what do you call that innovation center at Kenyatta University? Grace, is Augustine, what do you call it? I'm forgetting his name. The innovation center at KU. Who can remind me what's the name of the innovation center at Kenyatta University? And the name of a certain person.
It's called Chandaria Innovation Center.
Precisely, Chandaria Foundation Center. Now, Chandaria Foundation Center, because you know it, I want you to picture it, bring it to your consciousness. And for you, Mr. Damien, maybe you have an innovation center at your university that probably helps to raise money for projects for students so that they can commercialize their projects. Are you at the Muhubiri University, Mr. Damien?
Yes, sir.
What innovation center is there at the Muhubiri?
Okay, innovation center that we have.
Yeah. That you can take your idea and they tell you your idea, they're going to commercialize it. I know that almost all universities in Africa, except a few, maybe have got an innovation center. In South Africa, in Kenya, recently, maybe about a decade ago, they started creating innovation centers. University of Nairobi has one, but that's just about it. Do you have innovation center at Muhubiri?
We just have this of pharmaceutical and issue of radiology.
Okay.
Yes.
So these centers, such as Soldaria. Now, Grace, if I may ask you, where students take their projects to Chandaria Center, okay? Where does Chandaria get its money to support the students' projects? Do you know? Chris, do you have any idea where Shadaria gets the money from? How does it get funding for funding the projects? All right. You see, all this thing is a mystery. Don't worry if you don't know, because nobody seems to know where the money is coming from. The initial capital or the capital outlay was provided by Mr. Shadaria himself, because Shadaria owns Shadaria Industries. So he donated the initial money. But you see, donating the initial money is not sustainable, because students come every year. Why? Because mothers give birth to babies every day. Every day they are newborns, and in 20 years, those newborns are in the university. So the getting money from one person is not sustainable. See that? That's the problem. Getting money from one person is not sustainable. So when you create an innovation center like that, you have to have an idea where the money will be coming in on a continuous basis. So such a center, when it's created, I mean, the argument is that we shall be getting students to write grant proposals. Then we can ask international grants funders. When you say international grant funders, that's another dark space. Who are those people? You don't know them. You don't know them. So, and of course, most of them are going to be Europeans. So you ask Europeans, okay, to receive proposal documents from your students who have got the spirit moving, so they are shedding light on new ideas in that Genesis moment. So this is your Genesis moment, being given to somebody you don't know, who is in a dark space out there. So enough for they tell you to compete for that. The money that can be donated by foreigners like that is very, very little. It's not enough for even going through the exploration stage at all. It's just very, very little money. And you will get, now you have some people called philanthropists. They'll be coming from maybe Germany, United Kingdom, France, and United States, and such places. You know, the problem with that is that when you give out your knowledge, when your spirit has moved and you have shed light on the new innovation, then you just give it away for free. You give it away, hoping that somebody is going to finance it, going to give you money. And they tell you it's a funding competition to get a grant. So they call it a grant. That, okay, now Million now you're basically something like that. So that grant is not really a grant. What they do is that they take that knowledge and they can implement it, but they can donate a little money in charge. Imagine if there's 100 students submitting grant applications like that, they're only going to fund only 1 or 2 or even 3. What happens to the 97 documents? That's intellectual property being stolen in plain sight. So, and that is the traditional funding model. In fact, when they fund, that's the money for exploration. Exploration is very, very, very expensive because it is high risk. That exploration is like incubation. You know, incubation funding exploration is the same structure as an incubator. All of you know about how chicken lies on its eggs. Mm-hmm. To lie on the eggs, the mother hen, after she had laid a whole bunch of eggs over maybe about 15 or 16 days, then she goes into brooding mode, and then she goes and lies on her eggs. Okay, that is known as incubation. She is lying on those eggs to give it a very good temperature so that they can hatch into chicks. Now, that is called incubation. Imagine you have an idea. Inside the idea, and the idea itself is like an egg that, if it is incubated, is going to hatch into a chick. Now, just like an incubator, when you have a chicken, a mother hen lying on eggs over a period of 21 days, what is the likelihood that if you had 10 eggs, what are the likelihood that all of them are going to hatch into chicks? And what is the distribution of the chicks that are going to be hatched? Are they going to be female or male chicks, say like hens or cocks? So you do not know by just looking at the eggs. The eggs cannot tell you, number one, whether you're going to get 100% of the eggs in the incubator hatching into chicks. Number two, you do not know the distribution of the gender of the chicks that are going to be born, whether they're going to be male or female, because that's got important economic implications. Because you don't know that, in economic terms or in finance terms, you call that high risk process, a very high risk process. And for example, if these fertilized eggs, eggs from these eggs fertilized first by a cock, and then you say you have an artificial incubator. Say like that center for innovation is an artificial incubator. Then you go and lay a whole bunch of eggs there, and these are new projects. These new projects, how many of them are likely to give results? And the results means that at the end of the exploration, they are going to come out with exteriorization. They are going to exteriorize some great projects. Then they take that project through ideation and then through all the way to manufacturing and distribution to make money that can bring at a tidy return on investment. Because that is very, very high risk process, very high risk process. A lot of people, until let's admit, investors are not willing to put money on high risk projects like that, because high risk projects in exploration stage have got 100% chance of failure. 100, that all the eggs can go bad, all of the eggs. So how do you recover your money? Because you've already invested the money. Where would you get the money back? Well, if the eggs go bad, then the chickens, there'll be no chicks. And if there's no chicks, there's not going to be hens, there's not going to be cocks to be sold. There's not going to be broilers to produce more eggs for sale, and your chicken business is finished or dead, kaput. So incubators are very high risk projects, and people with money shy away from them all the time. So in the United States, what they have done to overcome that problem, they have talked to the government. The government of the United States has created processes to finance or to fund high-risk projects in the exploration stages. So it's called early stage projects. So they come through the universities, just like when in KU. But you see the Kenyan government, neither Kenyan government or Tanzanian government or any government in Africa is going to put money forward unless recently it has happened. But you see, even with the finance bill we have in Kenya that people are protesting about, doesn't have any money allocated for research and development, for innovation. There's no money. Okay, it's not there in the budget. So where will the money come from? See? So say, for example, US government has created what they call national scientific foundation, National Science Foundation, and then they have national institutes. So, and I'm just telling you this as an example so we can go to the next thing. We have National Science Foundation, which funds it partners with the universities and helps to finance the early stage projects in the incubator stage, so that there is kind of protected money. It's got protected time. And that also gives comfort to investors who want to come early, because the government is there with you, that you're not alone. If you lose the money, they might find a way of reimbursing you the money. But that money is probably given directly to the project. So in medicine, we have National Institutes of Health. So National Institute of Health has got a sub-institute for every disease process. For example, we have National Institutes of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, National Institutes of Mental Health, National Institutes of Cardiovascular Diseases, National Institute of Infectious Diseases, which is like the one doing the work on COVID and all that, the coronavirus disease. So there are about 19 national institutes, sub-institutes under the National Institute for Health. In Kenya, we have something called NACADA. I think that's national. NACADA was national. NACADA, yeah, it's NACOST, not NACADA, NACOST. National, it's something was national something of science and technology. Yeah, but it's not well funded. Okay, because of absence of funding. And something else, let's say within the universities. So for example, at the University of Minnesota, they have a Center for Medical Innovation, just like would be equivalent to Shadaria Center. And see what they do at the National Center for Medical Innovation to have sustainable funding. They get companies, say for example, Medtronics, which manufactures biomedical devices, and all those other biomedical engineering companies in the greater Minneapolis area, including companies like Boston Scientific. Boston Scientific is in Minnesota, can you believe it? And also something like guys making biomedical devices, so many companies there. So all those companies become members of the Center for Medical Innovation at the University of Minnesota. And that is organized through the School of Business. So these companies contribute some money. Each company has to contribute some money in the kitting to help finance the new innovation coming. The students are, being generated by students at the universities. We don't have anything like that. Because we don't have anything like that. And I think the biggest challenge is how do you coordinate such companies such that you can have companies like Medtronic, Boston Scientific, St. Jude Medical, and all the hospital systems like Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Rochester, Minnesota, and say the University of Minnesota Medical School Systems. All of them become members of the Center for Medical Innovation. We don't have that kind of arrangement. And when they are members, they contribute money to a pool of funds. And so that in the traditional financing system, that pool of funds becomes available for high-risk projects in the genesis stage, exploration stage. We don't have that. Because we don't have that, we have to break away from there. Break away, and get to the next level of financing, which is called quadratic funding. So quadratic funding doesn't mean that we do away with that kind of model. First of all, quadratic funding helps us to bypass what we would be expecting the government to do, like creating those national centers. So we don't need you don't need me to tell you what politicians are like to do with that, because they're always making confused statements. But just like at the University of Minnesota, we can now rally people in pharmaceutical industry, in manufacturing, to become members and contribute money to a pool. But this money, if they contribute it to a pool, how do you make sure that they don't lose the money? Because in an incubator model, the money is likely to get lost 100% if the projects don't pan out. And of course, projects may not pan out if there is inadequate funding. For example, let's go back to the idea of a chicken and eggs. So if you have chicken, if you have a chicken lying on eggs for maybe a full 10 days, and then something disrupts it, or maybe it gets affected by something like lack of food, it is hungry and start withering because of lack of food, those eggs are going to go bad. Okay? Even if the chicken was very healthy for the first 10 days, because the chicken has to be on top of those eggs for a total of 21 days in order for them to hatch into new chicks. So that means that there's insufficient resources. Okay, that insufficient resources, insufficient funding. So insufficient funding can come because the contributors are not very keen on contributing, And the reason they do that is because they are not sure whether they shall ever get their money back, ever. Okay, now what's amazing is that the quadratic funding on blockchain makes that problem go away. This is how it works. For example, if you have a whole bunch of pharmaceutical companies, each one of them contributes, say, like 1 million shillings, each one of them, to the Chandaria Foundation. This money is high risk money because they're not sure they shall ever see that money in any time in their lifetime, okay? Because they're not sure whether those projects are going to make it. But if you have 10 pharmaceutical companies, each one contributing 1 million shillings to Chandaria Foundation, and then that you get 10 million shillings. That means enough to promote projects for that 1 year, 10 million shillings through exploration, maybe all the way to commercialization. But a lot of those projects may never see the light of day because from exploration to commercialization is very high risk. But how do you get rid of that risk? Get rid of the risk completely. So what you do is that when they contribute that 10 million shillings, you give them Actuate tokens. Okay? For every shilling that they contribute, they get Actuate. For every shilling. Maybe for every 100 shillings they contribute, they get 1 Actuate token. See? The token itself is liquid. And this means that it's a representation of ownership of the project. Okay? That is the pharmaceutical companies. Now the students who are participating, this community, then they can also buy Actuate tokens because Actuate tokens are cheap. They are not 1 million shillings. They could be 100 shillings. Now, students at KU can manage to buy a lot of Actuate tokens. And even people in the community, in the villages who are interested in funding innovation at the foundation. So that is how you democratize. First of all, you get many companies coming in, putting in money, but then you have access, you can now distribute that ownership also to local wananchi, let's say wananchi in school, students, even their professors and teachers, and also their mothers and fathers, villages, even their grandmothers, and even their great grandmothers, because all they need is to have a self to get the Actuate token. So now that 10 million shillings can actually turn to even 100 million shillings because it's going to be large community participation. And because you're able now to distribute tokens to millions of people to support one project in our foundation, then money becomes available for high risk projects. Now, these tokens, because they are in the marketplace, they are indifferent to whether or not all the eggs go bad, or maybe some of the eggs go good. But it is very highly unlikely, it's highly unlikely that you have 100 eggs and then, or say 100 projects, let's put these types of projects. It's highly unlikely that you have 100 projects and all the projects go bad unless there's something called the force of nature, like a big catastrophic event. But that's not likely to happen because at least one project will make it. That one project is going to help drive the value of the tokens in the marketplace in 10 to 5 to 10 years. And that is why the people, when they hold tokens, they don't have to worry about projects going bad. Yeah, and so it gives incentive to a lot of people. Number two, that democratizes ownership. That's not only the large deep pocket people who can contribute to the funding, it is also everybody else who has got some knowledge about it. That's what I wanted to explain to you, how this is going to revolutionize, say, Chandaria Foundation, even the Center for Medical Innovation at Nairobi University. And I think it's going to help even open other innovation centers in all other universities, because money is unavailable today because people are scared of losing money. Or if you have to tell them that you are never going to lose your money because your money is going to be on the blockchain, then they will be willing to invest, let's say invest or contribute to quadratic funding. Isn't that beautiful? It is so beautiful you cannot even believe it. But then you better believe it. Because if you don't believe it, you're going to go into this into the way of the unbelievers, unbelieving. So it is here. Then we don't have to worry about the politicians refusing to finance health, finance research and development so that they can line their pockets with tax dollars or tax shillings. But we get a system for funding research and development that is totally independent, the political enterprise, based on pure science, okay, the blockchain. Well, thank you so much. I think maybe there are many questions about that, but yeah, that's what I would like to add about that. Thank you so much, Monsieur Damien. Back to you, Grace. Well, she's breaking out. Grace, we did not hear a word. What? Grace, you. We can't hear you at all, Grace. Like we can hear scratch sounds, but not voice. Who can help Grace? Go to the next stage. Are there any questions, comments, philosophical thoughts? Let's hear philosophical thoughts about this because this is a change of philosophy of financing. It's going to be very exciting going forward. I'm thinking that by the time we come to the summit in December, we have clearly fully understood. It's very important why we are doing this talks is so that at least as many people as possible understand what goes on and how we fund development. We don't. Yeah, Felix, hello? Question? Comments? Question?
I can see a question on the chat box. Elijah asks, will the summit be live for someone who's far to attend it online or?
Yes, it will be, but Monsieur, this is Elijah. Elijah, if you're in Nairobi, if you're in Kenya, let's say in Kenya, you want to come to the summit and have in-person meeting. The purpose for having summits like this is networking. Networking is very important. So although we're going to stream it online like we're doing now, you don't get the same quality of networking, meeting people and having a party together, dancing with people. I'm not talking about dancing. I'm talking about dancing to the rhythm of dancing to the rhythm of science. Okay, dancing science. So yeah, the answer to your question is yes, but attending virtually come with a lot of disadvantages for you, but a lot of advantages for you to be present in person. Okay, Elijah. Any other question, Frida?
There are no more questions. Damien, do you have a question? Okay.
I think what I can give, like we can say as an assignment for all of you, everybody, if you're at a university, go and find out if they have an innovation center. So this is your homework, Monsieur Damien. When you were in Tanzania, look at all those universities, find out their centers for innovation. And also find out the next question. How do they finance innovation? Where do they raise the money from? How do they raise the money? Because this is gonna reveal to you a lot of secrets. In fact, you'll discover is a whole bunch of darkness out there. That is,
Yeah.
it is,
In Dar es Salaam, I'll continue to make a research in Muhimbili University.
yeah,
That's the innovator about this, and also in Arusha there is center is called the Spinal Health Center.
yeah.
That has started that innovation. So I'll make a research and I'll come back with feedback, doctor.
Yeah, find out their what do you call it? Their strategy for funding, because you most likely they are writing proposals to foreign people like Europeans to come and find them. Remember, those people are supremely dangerous. They colonized us. Don't forget that. We asked them for money to give us. They just say, ha, 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 yeah. Okay, here they come again. Saying, here they come again. They never forget. They never forget what we did to them. All right. But so it's up to us to get organized so that we don't always go out and start keep crying them for money. Give us money to do this. We have money within us. All we need to do is organize it. And we have the technology for organizing that money. The blockchain with the quadratic funding mechanism. All right. Yeah, so everybody at your university, check their centers for innovation and find out their funding mechanism. And then you can report to us. Because you're going to go through these stages of biomedical research translation over the next 8 weeks. And so we are going to unearth a lot to know where we are so that we can know where to go next. Okay? And that's the power. So by December, we have full knowledge, have understood the landscape of where we are at the present time, the past, so we can create the new landscape for the future, which is called the new earth. Okay. The new earth is going to be coming and then unleashed in December. Okay. All right. So I don't know if she's there, because we have another session on African women in decentralized finance. We like to end this session early so that we can prepare for the African women in DeFi.
Okay.
Oh, you
hello, Doc.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes,
thank you so much. I think I had it was a network issue. But
yes.
So thank you so much for participating in today's session. I want to encourage us to continue joining these meetings and also networking with other members. Then also encourage active participation for the next sessions. On the announcement is that next week we're going to be exploring the quadratic funding in externalization stage of biomedical knowledge translation. So with that, I will be sharing the attendance form so that we may give time for East African women in DeFi. Make sure you fill the form. Yeah, I posted the form on the chat box, so you can go there and fill the form. I think there's nothing else left.
Thank you so much. And see you in a few at the African Women in DeFi. And
yeah.
Okay, so everybody, yeah, think about that funding because we're going to activate. I think in another month or so, we're going to go full blown in quadratic funding.